them hear you. How justice was our battle, and how justice was denied. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And say to those who love that sometimes you fight, that sometimes there are battles that are more than black or white. And I could not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you. Go out and tell our story. Let them echo wide and wide. Let them hear you. Make them hear you. And tell them in our struggle we were not the only ones. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Your sword can be a sermon or the power of the pen. Teach every child to raise his voice, and then, my brothers, then, when make them lovers, righteous men, make them hear you. Make when they hear you, I'll be near you.
Thank you, Mikey. Thank you, David. That song, Make Them Hear You, is from a musical called Ragtime. I think I've mentioned it here before. I finally, after many years, got to see the revival of Ragtime in December. And it's got a lot going on, a lot of storylines, but it's a magnificent show. And that song in particular, I don't know, did it stir anything in you? Anybody? Yeah. Make them hear you. I pondered as I was watching that show on Broadway that song, the storyline, the characters, that time in history, it moves and it has, or maybe I should say it stirs an impact, has an impact within me. And along with that, I ponder the impact that I believe the unity movement could have on our world. And I'll confess, love me or not, part of that pondering is I'm a little baffled as to why there isn't more of an impact. And I think part of that is because when I discovered the unity movement, 35 years plus ago, it had such an enormous impact on me and in my life. And though, if you know me at all, you would guess that, I'm a little bit of a drama queen. I don't think it's dramatic to say that it saved my life. And I discovered it through, many of you have heard the story, I was sharing an apartment with a couple of young ladies, actresses, and we were living out in Astoria, Queens together, and I didn't know them and they didn't know me, and I ended up sharing one of the bathrooms in the apartment with one of the women, and she asked me if I minded if she left the Daily Word in the bathroom. And I said, "What's the Daily Word?" "Oh, it's this little magazine that I would just rather leave it in there." Apparently that's where she does her reading. Well, I thought, well, why not? So I started reading the Daily Word and was just fascinated by the ideas. And I grew up in the evangelical Christian church, and so I really know the Bible. Like, I grew up with that. I was a professional gospel singer for a number of years, so that was my languaging. And then I got to a point where the theology no longer worked for me. Is there anyone else? Can I get a witness? Like, the theology no longer worked for me, and I knew that there was something missing. There was something off in that theology, and yet I also knew that there were seeds of truth that were contained within it that I needed to discover. And that's what Unity and the Fillmores, our co-founders, Myrtle and Charles Fillmore, they brought a metaphysical perspective to the scriptures that I grew up with. And so the Daily Word, if you know it at all, it has in every single day, there is a different daily word. There is a word or words as it is today, world peace. There is an affirmation, and there is a text and a scripture. And it invites us to use what many people see literally and traditionally. It invites us into a metaphysical level of those same scriptures. So for me, I really got that because I knew that scripture, and there was so much of it that just had begun to fall flat for me. It just didn't work anymore. And so when I was brought to the Daily Word, and then that same woman said, there's a Unity here in New York City. And I'm like, oh my God, where is it? It's at Lincoln Center. I'm like, Lincoln Center? Wait, that's the Metropolitan Opera, But that's where the Unity met for many years. And so I went, and at the time, Eric Butterworth was still the senior minister. And if any of you know the Unity movement, Eric Butterworth and his master work, he wrote many books, but the one he's best known from is Discover the Power Within You. Listen to the title, Discover the Power Within You. He was still the minister, though his health was declining, and so they had an associate minister who spoke more often than Eric did. But I did not understand a word he was saying. Like, I was like, what? What is this about? But that was the beginning of an entirely new life. And when I added into that mix, a very important part of my own journey, then I was led to 12-step recovery and Unity and 12-step recovery, and then A Course in Miracles, and then the next thing kept showing up. Exactly what I needed. And so as a little evangelical, I had decided when I was about 12 years old that I was going to be a minister. And then the evangelical movement told me, based on who you are, your own personal orientation, we don't have room for you. You can't be a minister in our movement. So when I discovered Unity and a more spacious, inclusive spirituality, all of a sudden then, guess what? There was room for me. And the calling that had always been within my soul reignited. And I tease about this sometimes, but there's a kernel of truth in it as well. See, Unity's gain was the evangelicals' loss. Oh, well. But now I get to speak to people because, unity is filled with a lot of people who I like to think of them as God wounds. The traditional theology hurt hearts. And the theology, see, there's a scripture that tells us that we are made in the image and likeness of God. Does that sound familiar to any of you? We are made in the image and likeness of God. Unfortunately, we return the favor. And so scriptures are filled with a God who is made in our image. So drowning of Egyptians and plagues and crucifixions and all of that. See, when you begin to get that that's all symbolic languaging, that it's not historically accurate. It's symbol, and it's showing us parts of ourselves. But I would not be a minister today if I believed all of that theology in a literal way. So I use it. It used to use me. But now I'm baffled by the fact that thus far, the Unity Worldwide movement is not having a very strong impact. In fact, the number of Unity congregations are dwindling. There are far less than there used to be. And I don't get that. Am I the only one? Don't you think this has some power to it? Like, listen to Eric Butterworth. Discover the power within you. And when you really discover the power within you, then you take responsibility for it. We are responsible. I am absolutely responsible for the gift that I was given the day that I found the Daily Word on the toilet. The best poop I ever had. I'm teasing you a little bit, but wow. And then I go to Lincoln Center, to Philharmonic Hall, which I've been to for symphony concerts many times. And here I am sitting, and it's a spiritual community with the best music you've ever heard. Marvin Hamlisch at the piano, Eric Butterworth at the... I'm like, what is going on? And I believe that we collectively, see, look around you a little bit. Look around this room. Look at the size of it. See, for me, the potential of the power within us, the potential of our message, of those 5 unity principles that we mentioned in the script, the power of that would fill this room. Would fill this room. And am I the only one noticing that our world and our country are a bit of a mess right now? So do you, and I feel this, I'm so grateful that after 30 plus years of ministry, I still feel this. This just churned in me this morning that I get to have an impact by doing this, by joining with you, by, I hope, encouraging you, by inviting you to own the power and in a passionate way. That by choosing to come here, you are making a choice for a better world. Are you getting that? You're making a choice for a better world. So you look at all of that that's going on, And we could all, and don't we fall into the trap of what I like to think of as B&M. That's not the other on the toilet with a daily word. That's bitch and moan. Right? So it's very seductive to bitch and moan about the world that we're looking at. And when we're bitching and moaning about the world that we're looking at, and we stop there, we have disowned the power that is within us to transform it. That we're here to transform that, not to be informed by the world. So we often hear, we are the light of the world. No, we are not. We are the light within the world. Do you see the difference there? The light within the world, and we are meant not to be dimmed or dumbed down by the events of the world. We are meant to shine forth into them, to see them metaphysically as opposed to only literally. Now, we're watching lives destroyed or taken. Like, we're watching all of that. As I often remind you, I think I said it last week, we don't deny that that's happening. We do not diminish the beauty and the value of a human life. So we don't just think in terms of statistics, how many people. No. We hold those lives within our hearts. And we weep for the loss. We don't stop there. We don't stop there. We say, wait a minute. What did that crazy little preacher man say? There's a power within me. And how I look at that, the simple physics, the act of observation changes that which is observed. We should take an offering right now, and you put thousands in. Did you hear me? The act of how you look at it either sustains the mess or transforms. It calls forth the potential that is ever present. Ever present. You know, you hear in unities all the time, well, there's no spot where God is not. Do we live that? Do we see through a lens that really knows that? So I'm very happy that even in this cavernous space, we have all these people. It's a holiday weekend. Did you know it's a holiday weekend? So this is the weekend that we observe. I remember when this was not the case, but this is the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend. And I have a lifelong relationship, and it's an evolving relationship to not this holiday, but to the man and to his legacy. And it's a prime example, at least for me, of how these principles have changed my consciousness. Because some of you have heard part of this, I'm not going to elaborate a lot, but Martin Luther King Jr., in my household, when I grew up, he was thought of as the big troublemaker. Now, I'm going to say something to y'all. We're a pretty predominantly white congregation. We welcome all people. I certainly minister to all people, and currently we're predominantly, not exclusively, but we're, right? And I believe, and people like to reside in what I sometimes feel like is a little bit of denial around this, but I grew up hearing that Dr. King was a troublemaker. Another one, my mother's favorite person to hate was Al Sharpton, right? Y'all know Al Sharpton? So I grew up knowing, being told that my parents were selling our house and moving further north. I'm from Columbus, Ohio, because they were moving closer to our neighborhood. They, them. So I grew up in a white school system, and I grew up hearing these ideas. Now, this is part of the transformation for me. In my 20s and 30s, I was so angry that I grew up in that kind of a thought system. I was angry about the prejudice that was handed to me. I was angry at my family system. And now I can say very openly, I grew up in a good family that had some really bad ideas, who were ignorant, and they were good people. They weren't bad people. They just were ill-informed. And see, part of my journey in unity, in a more inclusive spirituality, is that I have consciously dealt with, if you will, I have confronted those ideas that I was handed, and I have a very transformed consciousness as a result. And I'm profoundly grateful. And so as part of that, I began to look more closely at the teachings, the history around the Reverend Dr. King, the ideas that he shared, the civil rights movement. And I have really gotten that, you know what? For me, civil rights are human rights. And human rights are the spiritual rights of all. And are you with, like, they have, civil, human, spiritual are the rights of all people. And I think that if you were brought up anywhere like the ideas that I was given, it is our responsibility to root out those old ideas, to pull them out. They're weeds in the gardens of consciousness. You know, I just heard this, like, Juneteenth and Martin Luther King holiday have just had some of the power taken out of them. This year, in the national parks, like, we're moving back. How can that be? But I can go, wait a minute. Civil rights, human rights, spiritual rights. There's a power within me. There's a power within me. And I live in a country that votes. And my vote counts. And I have a voice that counts. And I will never be the orator that Dr. King was. But I have a voice and I have a platform. And I know that when I show up here and I yell at you in my preachy style, it has an impact. And my transformed consciousness in terms of race relations has an impact. And if I offend you with that, good. Because I'm not here to make nice. Have you noticed? So, August 28th, 1963, the big, well-known speech by Dr. King, the March on Washington, 250,000 people estimated on that mall in Washington gathered. Mahalia Jackson singing, and speaker after speaker, and then the final speaker, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who ad-libbed during his speech, and off of the cuff said, "I have a dream." Y'all thought he wrote that, didn't you? It's not in the original document. He came up with that, and he invited us, and he pointed to something that, see, we understand the physics of it. The power of a dream, of a vision, of creating and seeing what is not yet there. That's how our principles work. So if we do not have a dream of a better world, if we can't sustain that vision, it can never be a reality. Are you with me? Can you hear that? If we do not, see, this is what I know for sure. I know this for sure. We have lost the ability. We have diminished our capacity for dreaming and for vision. You know how we've done it? Screens. Thank you, you get it. Screens. So we're looking at the effects of consciousness constantly. And then we post. And we like or we dislike or we apply them. So we're so fixated on what is that we lose the ability to vision what could be. Are you with me? If you take 5 minutes out of every single day and put down the damn phone and vision a world that works for all, and you put feeling into it, and you sustain that for just 5 minutes a day, it has to have an effect in consciousness. It has to. Our 5 basic unity principles. Some of you are newish. Do you know what the 5 basic unity, thank you for saying no, unity principles are? The 5 principles are, in this terminology, God is. You can call it whatever you want to. I don't really use God in my own languaging. You know this? I use allness. So God is, all is. First principle. Second principle, I am. So bring those together. It is because God is that I am. Third principle, everything is governed by spiritual law. Everything. There are laws of consciousness that we either are, well, we're always using them, but humankind is mostly misusing them. What you focus on, you will get more of. It is law. What you speak about, you will get more of. What you feel and react to, you will get more of. What you set an intention. If you have a vision and your vision is obscured by what is already manifest, that is the only thing that you can get more of. Oh, isn't it a bummer? It's true. So third principle, law of consciousness. Fourth principle, pray. Pray, 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 pray. How often Do we dial up the person we know is going to commiserate with us? Right? We're ruminating on how bad something is. So we call the exact person that we know will join in our rumination. They will not interrupt it. They'll go, oh, I know. Oh my God, it's so terrible. Oh, isn't it just? And you know what's happening? Field of consciousness by field of consciousness has just amplified how bad things are. See, this is not for sissies. Well, even though I am one. I'm proud. Do you hear me? This is what these principles mean. So God is, I am. There are laws of consciousness. I pray the law. You don't pray for something. You pray it. Don't pray for peace. When you pray for peace, you're saying there isn't peace. Peace already is. It underlies all that is. It's just we have to allow it to rise in our consciousness. I don't know. This is pretty good. I think Dr. King might like this. So, April 3rd, 1968, the last talk Dr. King gave before he was assassinated. He talks about the promised land. It's imagery that is from the story of Moses, right? So Moses, 40 years, you've heard me tell this, 40 years the Israelites roamed around in the desert trying to find the promised land. 40 years. If you look on a map, it's a 7-day journey. It took them 40 years to make a 7-day journey. You know why? They were circling the same mountain and bitching and moaning. This is true. So Moses says, I won't make the promised land. But you go, you find the promised land. Dr. King, the night before he was killed, he knew that was going to happen. He knew it. It was only a matter of time. It happened to be the next day. I will not find the promised land with you. The promised land isn't a literal geographical place. The promised land is a place in consciousness. You are the promised land. Let it land, the promised land. Let the truth of your being land. Speak of it. Vision it. Talk about what can be, not what isn't. You are the promised land. Do you believe it? Well, that was really pitiful. I'm glad you do, honey. You and I are a force. We are a force. Thank you, honey. Do you believe it? Do you get it? Do you know that your power? See, you know how if you like, I'm sure you've never done this, but if you ever like had a friend and you start gossiping, getting into all that talk, and afterwards you kind of feel like you need a shower. Do you know what I mean? Anybody? See, that's your consciousness saying that is so beneath you. That is so beneath you. Stop complaining about what is. When you complain, you what? Drain. You are draining life force. Dr. King is no longer on the planet. He hasn't been for a long time. However, the truth, the promised land that he spoke of is in all of us. And it is our responsibility to show up as grown-ups and use those 5 principles regularly on a daily basis. Begin to think, if you will, feel in the 5 principles. What are they? God is. There's a law. I pray the law, and then I take action. I take action. But there are 4 principles before that. So take action from the 4 preceding principles. And when you do that, you will make an impact. You're making an impact right now by being here. You are making an impact. And I congratulate you and I thank you. And my new girlfriend up here, we thank you because we know we're having an impact. And that's what unity, that's why, see, we have not owned our power. We have not owned our power. And so unity centers are closing. And that poor campus out there, oh my God, the drama that goes on out there. We're human beings. We're doing the best we can. But let's get serious about this, shall we? Like, what if 2026, we really got serious about this? And we decided that we're going to have the impact that we want to see. Nobody else's. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. Huh? Don't wait for somebody else. It ain't going to happen. It's up to us. So together, we vision the promised land. Are you in? Are you in? No. Are you in? Yes. And I will support you. I will support you. And I will do my best when you start bitching and moaning. I'm going to say, I love you. Shut up. Stop talking about what you don't want. And if you are black or a person of color, I'm sorry that the history has been what it is. I am not a black man. I don't know what that's like. But I know what it's like to be marginalized. I know what it's like to be cast out and held down. The evangelical church did that. And you know what? With all the love of my heart, I went, and if I may so humbly say, it's your win. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Taylor. Whoa. Can you just imagine if every faith community heard a message like this on today, how powerful this would be? So thank you, Reverend Taylor, for keeping it real. Thank you very much. We do rely on your donations to sustain this ministry and to help us spread the unity message, especially the message today, right? To everyone who needs to hear it. And such an important weekend with the Reverend Martin Luther King Day tomorrow. Let's all take this to heart and do our best to change the world. We do need it. And might I just say, Mikey and David, what is the song? Let them hear you. Wasn't that powerful? Thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. We ask that you share an offering with us today as our ushers carry the baskets through the sanctuary. If you don't have an offering with you, you can make one online at unitypalmbeach.com. And while you're there, you can please sign up for recurring donations if you haven't already done so. Will the ushers please come forward? Please hold your offering in your hand, and if you're watching online, please scan the QR code that will take you to our donate page and go to unitypalmbeach.com/donate. Let's say our offertory prayer together. The inexhaustible substance of Spirit flowing freely through me blesses and increases all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I allow. I give, and so it is. Thank you, ushers. Thank you to everyone who assisted in the service today. As a reminder, please join us after service for refreshments. As a reminder, we share this place with Temple Beth El, and it's a kosher environment, so please do not bring food into this space. But please join us after service for refreshments. As we close, please remember that we share this sanctuary with Temple Beth El. So be sure to remove all personal items, pens, papers, and trash. As a reminder, our chaplains are available to pray with you after service. If everyone would please exit through the rear door so we can keep a quiet space up front. Please rise as we affirm our prayer for protection. Together, everyone who knows it, please say it loud because we don't have a screen behind us today. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Remaining where you are, let's sing together really loud, Let There Be Peace on Earth, and have a wonderful week.